Good evening, Savannah and the Coastal Empire. Welcome to the Karl DeMasi Sports Report, heard every Wednesday night right here on the Coach's Corner Sports Network, November 6, 2024. And I have to say, tonight's show is not live. It's pre-recorded because the coach got something to do at work. So as I say, I want to keep the show every Wednesday night. I got two guests that I pre-recorded. So you'll be watching a pre-recorded show of the Karl DeMasi Sports Report. I know it's not live. I'm not in the Soundgarden stage. The ambiance, the excitement about being on the Soundgarden stage is always something special when I do my show live every Wednesday night from there. But sometimes we got to make exceptions. So get ready for an exciting night on the Karl DeMasi Sports Report. We have Coach Baker Woodward, the head coach at Savannah Christian. He's made a name for himself in Georgia high school football. He's taken that Savannah Christian team to new heights, including last year's state championship final run. They're looking to get back there this year. They're undefeated. They just won the region title, beat Toombs County 14-7 on Friday night. We're going to talk to him. We're going to give him 4 quarters with the coach. That means I'm going to ask him 4 questions. Remember, the guy's got a passion from Savannah. He loves developing his players on and off the field. Coach Woodward is here to share his journey and his insights for the rest of the season going into the playoffs. Then, of course, we'll spotlight our Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic Athlete of the Week like we've done for 13, 14 years that I've been doing this show. And we're going to talk to standout junioe wide receiver Joshua Washington from Benedictine. He had an unforgettable night last Friday night against New Hampstead High School. It was a great game, 44-22 BC win. He had 2 touchdowns, had 11 catches. He had an exceptional night. Not the first time he's done that this year, not the first time in his career he's done that. So stay tuned and watch what Josh has to say about his career transferring from Savannah Country Day to Benedictine and what the season's been like for the cadets and Mr. Washington. So tune in. Coming up next, catch these 2 special guests and all local sports that you want to hear right here on the Karl DeMasi Sports Report. Remember, it's all part of the Coach's Corner Sports Network. And welcome back to the Karl DeMasi Sports Report right here on the Coach's Corner Sports Network. It's a Wednesday night. Usually I'm live in the Soundgarden at Coach's Corner, the center of the sports universe. But tonight had to be pre-recorded. And it works out good for me. It works out good for this young man. He's also a father. He does so much stuff over there at Savannah Christian. So it works out perfect. So I don't have to bother him at 7:30 at night to come on. He can go home, play with the kids, and do what he's got to do. Probably he's going to go fishing it gets dark now. So I don't know if he's going to do a little bass fishing with his son. But anyway, just a great story. Took over the program at Savannah Christian in 2018. Okay, so our guest tonight is Baker Woodward, the head coach at Savannah Christian. And believe me, he's become a true leader in Georgia high school football, and especially in this area as one of the best coaches around. I mean, since 2018, the program has gone 66-19, has made it to the state playoffs numerous times, state first round, quarterfinals, semifinals, and last year he made it to the finals. So he's looking to get that program back. He does a lot for his kids, but he's more known as a coach who bonds with his players, leads by faith, and shows them the right way to go. Okay, so he's made an impact on and off the field. Joining us now on the Coach's Corner hot seat, the man himself, Baker Woodward. What's up, Baker?
Hey, Coach DeMasi, thanks for having me, and I appreciate all those nice things. I don't know if everybody will agree with you on all those nice things, but thanks for having me, and I appreciate you recording it. When I get home from work, it's chaos in my house with 3 and my wife. She does a lot, so very thankful for her. But also, congrats to you as being a granddad now. That's awesome, and just thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you coming on and finding the time. I know how hectic it is. Back when I used to be, a head football coach also. I mean, when you get in the house, there's nothing else you can do but help your wife take care of the kids. So it's definitely pretty special. And thanks for the comment about the grandkids. It's nice being a grandkid. One lives close by, one's a little further away. So, but it's definitely special. It definitely is. And like I've said to a couple of friends, I just hope I can make it the next 20 years so I can see them grow and play high school sports and be involved in their life. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So what I do is when I bring on the adults as my guests, TV, media, coaches, we go 4 quarters. That means I ask you 4 questions, short and sweet. So you guys got a number of things to do so you can get it done. So that's what we're going to do today. But I got to ask you one question before we start. I mean, you've played and coached under some legendary coaches here: Alan Lowe, Antoine Turner, Danny Britt. What has that experience been like when you've learned from those? I mean, you got to say, great coaches, great people.
Yeah, no, I think you learn from the way you're coached, and a style. Your coaching style comes from just bits and pieces of things that you liked from people that you worked under and people that you played for. And I'll say, like Alan Lowe, he was a tremendous coach. He was able to get things accomplished just by just looking at you the wrong way. He never used a harsh word, but if he looked at you a certain way, you're like, oh man, I really messed up. And then Antoine Turner, I think I learned a lot from him in terms of having grace for your players. It's not like coaching is not a my way or the highway thing. It's easy to do when you got a bunch of people on your team, right? But not when you have a small team. And thankfully, I learned a lot from Coach Turner and how to coach each player their own way. You do have rules and you set your culture, but not one thing works for every single player. And he taught me a lot on that. He's one of the best Christian guys I know. And then Danny Britt, he is, in terms of successful football programs, he's one of the best for sure. And I learned a lot from Coach Britt, and of course, Coach Britt coached me. He was a defensive coordinator when I was at Calvary, and Coach, he prides himself on the things that football programs are successful: being physical, being disciplined, being intelligent, and he's done a great job where he's at. And I'm grateful to him because he was the one that said, you know what, I think Coach Woodward can call the offense, and he gave me my first chance at calling plays. So all of them have really had a big influence in my life in one way, shape, or form.
Nice. And you're definitely having a big influence over there at Savannah Christian with those players. So, as I said, 4 quarters with the coach, okay? So, key moments from Friday night. Looking back at that game, were there any specific plays or turning points that you believe changed the momentum of the game in your favor?
Yeah, I mean, our defense really did a phenomenal job. Our defensive coordinator, Colton Boyle, was probably not the nicest guy to talk to this past week. He was worried all week, and rightfully so. They have TJ Stanley, which is one of the best quarterbacks in the area. This is, before I've been following Toombs County football for a long time, and this is by far the best team I've ever seen Toombs have. When I was at BC, they were in the same region at the time, and but they were really good. TJ Stanley, Laganza, that made our defensive coordinator worry, but our defense did a great job. I mean, Elijah Griffin probably had his best performance that he's had here in his career. I mean, from 3 technique, he had like 7 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 4 tackles for a loss. And then, Jaden Miles and our linebacker core and Isaiah Redmond, he had a phenomenal game, 7 tackles. And then Athen Hudspeth, no one really says much about Athen at all, but I think he had 3 tackles for a loss from strong safety position. So our defense really, and Kenry Wall ended the game. We made a mistake with calling a pass play towards the end of the game, and Kenry kind of bailed us out and ended up sealing the deal for us. So I think the key moment was really just the defense overall, playing an offense that scores over 40 points a game and holding them to 7 points. I think that was key. And then if I had to pick a moment offensively, it's probably when our freshman quarterback, Devin Trawick, just threw a strike down the field to Weston Hughes, which that's like Weston's, I think, 4th catch of the season, his second touchdown, but none bigger than that for sure.
All right. So question number 2, okay, or quarter number 2. I got to remember to say that. Okay, quarter number 2. goes to talking about players. You talked about your impact plays. You talked about the special moment defense and those players that contribute. And then when you went to offense with Treywick and Weston, okay, but several players got banged up that are big to your program. So how's that going to? I mean, you got almost 3 weeks before you play again. So how does that impact your program going into practice for which would be your first playoff game?
Yeah, we just got to try to find some depth. I mean, we've already been working on it because some of these guys were actually banged up before we played the game, and we just kind of keep it kind of secretive. And, we've just been establishing depth. Obviously the offense runs through Zoe Smalls. I mean, he's the best running back around here. And, Jaden Miles probably could start at running back on every single team around here, but he's our backup because he's our middle backer. And we're trying to save him from defense. He's the leader of our defense. So, we're just trying to establish depth. If Zoe gets hurt, we got to go with Jaden. If Jaden's not feeling up to it, we got to put Kenry in the backfield. That's what we're trying to do. Damian, he's got kind of a banged up shoulder right now, and everybody knows how good he is. But, the other guy on the other side, Logan Brooking, of course, he's going to Clemson for tight end, but his dad would argue that he's pretty good on defense too, and it's in the genes there defensively. So we're establishing depth that way, and then some of our offensive linemen that are big guys, they're going to have to come in and play some 3 technique, some nose guard, and we can move Elijah Griffin to the defensive end. So even though our team only has we have 50 players, we how it is when you coach a smaller team. The 2, it might be starting at something else, but he might have to come in as a 2 somewhere. So that's what we're trying to do right now is trying to get everybody healthy, but also trying to make plans for depth if these guys aren't healthy when we get to that first playoff game.
All right. Now, quarter number 3, okay?
Yes, sir.
You face challenges, and then you face a lot of challenges Friday night to get that big 14-7 win over Toombs County. What were the challenges that you guys faced this year? Because, everybody, you hear people talking, they didn't play a tough schedule just like Calvary has in the other region. What challenges did you guys face other than you have to win or lose the game during the course of this season?
Yeah, so there was a couple, of course, games that I felt on our schedule, weren't the best. But if you look at our strength of schedule compared to Calvary's, compared to the huge region that they're in, we do play tough teams. Just to look back, like Whitfield Academy is one of the top teams in the state in the private league. We started with them, and then you got New Hampstead, which a lot of people have trouble with New Hampstead. They have one of the best quarterbacks, and I would imagine if New Hampstead's in the region, in that region, they're probably one of the top guys, if not the top in that region. And remember, New Hampstead did scrimmage Calvary and did pretty well. And so I believe we played tough games. Oceanside beat Calvary. So, I think we had a tough schedule. Now there was some games that it just didn't pan out with that opponent. But Country Day is a tough rival for us, and now we're playing in a region where you have Vidalia and Toombs. Now Vidalia may be somewhat down, but I'm telling you, Rodney Garvin and that whole coaching staff, they know what it takes to win, and they'll be on the rise the next few years. So I do think we had a tough schedule, especially considering the schedule that we had last year. And so, but what are some things that one of the biggest challenges I feel like right now is like, hey, we don't play a game for 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
I mean, GHSA, come on. I mean, you don't even have a 2-week bye. I mean, you have 2 byes throughout the whole season, and now we're sitting here. But, everything happens for a reason. I truly believe that. And if this is what the plan is, then, we have to use it to get healthy, to get better. And hopefully it will get some of those guys that we do have little injuries with back. Yeah.
Well, everybody looks at your schedule and they see that you beat these teams by more than 2 or 3 or 4 touchdowns. So they don't realize that these teams overall have been perennial playoff teams. I mean, Swingsbur's down, not down this year, but you played well. Your defense has been lights out. So people don't look at it that way. So I agree with you. Your schedule was one of the tough ones. And if you go by, I'm not going to try and explain it to the people here, and I don't want you to do it, but that Georgia high school power rankings is based on that schedule that you faced. Yeah. And right now, the Maxwell projections with the point system that Georgia has, you guys are number one. You know that.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I mean, it's all strength of schedule. And then you got to be strategic now when you make your schedule, and which I didn't really have much of a choice when we were doing the scheduling. We kind of took what we get. We had an option of what we had. We had to get 6. I'm looking at the schedule over here. Sorry. I had to get 6 non-region games. And so I'm talking to our athletic director. I'm like, okay, Coach Phillips, who do we want to play? Blessed Trinity, Ware County, or Carrollton? And so we said Blessed Trinity.
Right.
But it was really a toss-up between Blessed Trinity and Ware County, right. And so it was tough getting a schedule, but you also have to be strategic with it. Like Oceanside Collegiate, they won the state championship in AAA South Carolina High School. They're a really good football team. And so it was tough to get a schedule, but, I think it all has worked out for the best. And, it's very the public school region, including Calvary and Jenkins. I think that was definitely a good region because everything's made for you. I think you only had to find one non-region
game.
Yeah. So it's hey man, you gotta, and you're right into region play. So I think that was definitely convenient for those teams that were in that region. But it was definitely tough for us to get a schedule together, but it all worked out. Now I'll tell you this, Swainsboro, Coach DeMasi, watch out.
Yeah, I can imagine.
They haven't been able to throw the ball right now. But man, the running backs, the defensive line, the offensive line, we jumped on them early and it helped. We ran the opening kickoff back.
Right.
And I think that was one of the key things in us winning that game. Yeah, I think we're going to win anyway, but when you run the kickoff back, it kind of, jumps on them early. So,
all right. Question number 4, last one.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we talked about looking at the playoffs, but with this region title secured now, the seniors finally got their region title. A potential, if not right now, you're seated as the top team in that Class 3A to 1A playoff that Georgia High School set up for public and private schools. How are you going to use these 3 bye weeks to prepare? And what's the focus to keep these kids focused to make them get ready for that playoff game? Because you're sitting now for almost 3 weeks.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, thankfully, one thing I'm going to tell them is how proud I am of them. I mean, these seniors, they weren't able to win a region championship. I think their last region championship, our ball boy was Elijah Griffin. He was in 8th grade.
Right.
So, and he wanted it bad. I mean, I think you could see how he played, how bad he wanted it. So first, just going to, I already told him I was proud of him for that. But then secondly, we try to use it to get these guys healthy. And then third, it's time to, I think we know what we're good at. And now we're just going to focus in on exactly what we're good at and be perfect at that. I mean, heck, you never know, man. You got 3 weeks. We might put in a new offense,
Well, you could definitely throw some wrinkles in there.
Yeah.
And for these guys, the last region title Savannah Christian won was 2020.
Yeah. 2020. Yeah. Yeah. I know we've been, I think there was 1 year, but every year we have either been region champs or region runner up. And that's tough, but I was just telling our guys, you just don't give up. You don't worry about the outcome. You just take it one play at a time and you do the best that you can. And but they earned it. They deserve it. And very happy with that. I just pray everybody can get healthy and we'll move on. But yeah, we're going to be sitting here for 3 weeks. We're not going to practice 5 days a week, this week. We're going to we're only going to go 3 days this week and we might go 4 days next week. And at this point we know who we are. We just got to we don't know who we're playing either.
Right.
It's not like we can sit here and scout them out. Like, I guess we'll have a better idea after this weekend.
So, well, with all this new PowerPoints and public and private split, and it makes it a little bit interesting. And you guys have done a great job running the table this year, 9-0. You've done a great job. Now you just got to sit and wait. One, it helps you get your kids ready, gets them better from injuries. And, you just got to go over the fundamentals, I guess, for the next 2 weeks, learning how to run the ball, tackle, and catch the ball, and make sure you're doing the right things.
Yeah, no, that's it. I mean, there is a lot of things that we could have done better against Toombs County, but a team like Toombs County, they're going to make you look bad at some time in the game just because they're so good. I think that I don't really know much about the rest of that, that classification, but I would have a hard time thinking anybody can beat them in that classification.
Well, they came in number one as public. You came in as number one as private. So you had a little battle there. People don't know that you were a little banged up going into the game. So a good team takes care of being banged up and putting the Band-Aids where you needed to put it. And those kids stepped up. And great job. I've been loved watching it this year, and can't wait to see when you finally get to play who you get and where it's going to be at. Well, hopefully to be in Pooler.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that's 100%. It will be that first playoff game. I'm assuming they all will be. If you're number one seed, I don't know. Maybe the bracket would change that, but I think I think we're all going to be at home in Pooler if they'll keep us there. Unless Pooler kicks us out.
I don't know how they're gonna, because with the old format, when two same seeded teams meet each other, you used to flip a coin. But now, since if you're going to be seeded number one, I don't think you should have to worry about it.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, because we're one going in there, unless I mean, some people still haven't finished their season.
Right.
The makeups this week. I think like Calvary and Long County play. Toombs and Swainsboro has no effect on that, but Toombs and Swainsboro play, and I think Country Day got all their games in.
Talking to John Nelson a little early this morning to try to figure out this PowerPoint system, he said there are over 50 games still being played Friday night because of the hurricanes and everything being knocked out. So there's still 100 teams that are going to play tonight. So out of the 400 teams that play football, so it'll be pretty interesting to see what happens. But once again, congratulations. Great job over there, and keep up the good work, and can't wait to see what you guys do in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on here. Go Raiders.
Just a great job by what Baker Woodward is doing over there at Savannah Christian since 2018, 66-19. State final last year, semifinals, finals, quarterfinals, you name it. He's got him there. A lot of experience. 2 championship rings with Benedictine, just doing a great job. And 3-week layoff, so we're going to see what happens there for the Raiders over there on Chatham Parkway in Garden City. We'll find out who they're playing next week. So I'm excited to see what the Raiders can do, and going to give them a lot of time to heal up all those injuries and be ready to go full slate. 3 weeks off is a long time, but he has his plans. He's not going to practice them every day. He's going to give them a couple of breaks here and there, but you bet in 2 weeks they're going to go full out for their next opponent. Once again, that was Baker Woodward, the head coach at Savannah Christian Preparatory School. You're watching the Karl DeMasi Sports Report right here on the Coach's Corner Sports Network. Hey, sports fans, looking for the ultimate sports and entertainment destination in Savannah, Georgia? Look no further than Coach's Corner. At Coach's Corner, you'll find everything you need for a great time, including TVs everywhere so you can catch all the latest sporting events, an outdoor seating area, perfect for enjoying a drink or a meal on a warm day, a wide array of drink options from beers to cocktails, a comprehensive sports schedule so you can cheer on your favorite teams year-round, prompt service even when it's crowded, a fun and lively atmosphere perfect for letting loose with your friends, and of course, delicious food, from famous chicken wings, hamburgers to delectable calzones and pizzas. Coach's Corner menu is sure to satisfy your cravings. In addition to all this, Coach's Corner also features an upgraded sound garden, now more seats, more bars, and an upgraded sound system. It's the perfect spot for hundreds of fans to gather and enjoy the latest local bands, tribute acts, and rising stars. So what are you waiting for? Join us at Coach's Corner for the ultimate sports, music, and culinary experience. Coach's Corner can't wait to see you soon. Remember, Coach's Corner is located at 3016 Victory Drive, right in Thunderbolt, Georgia, and on the World Wide Web at coaches.net. Remember, Coach's Corner, where every day is game day. Calvary Day School, we want our students to be fully equipped and on the cutting edge of academics making a difference in our world. Your child will grow academically, physically, socially, and spiritually. At Calvary Day School, it is so good to say we are one school with one mission and one vision: faith, academics, excellence, and building champions through Christ at Calvary Day School. We would consider it a privilege to meet with you and your family personally. Call Alicia Bain, Director of Admissions, at 351-2299. That's 351-2299. Yo, you still want some real New York Italian food? Bada bing, bada boom. Rocky's New York Deli and Italian Catering is open at 7630 Skidaway Road, Tuesday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., serving breakfast and lunch right here in Savannah, Georgia. Rocky's New York Deli and Italian Catering has been serving the public for over 3 years. Now, if you want Rocky's New York Deli and Italian Catering goods delivered to your door, go online to SavannahTakeout.com or DoorDash.com, or just pick up the phone and call 912-354-2914. That's right, 912-354-2914. Kabish, and remember, we ain't New York style. We are New York at Rocky's New York Deli and
Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic. Your back hurts, another body part hurts all the time. It makes you mad. The pain drives you crazy. You just want to pick something up and throw it across the room, if you can. At the Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic, you get complete chiropractic care and pain relief to help you move better, have a less painful life, and of course, achieve a healthier lifestyle. The Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic is now located at 2 locations in Savannah, Georgia, at 329 Eisenhower Drive and in Pooler at 114 Canal Street, Suite 603. So visit Dr. Bart Wetherington at the Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic for all your chiropractic needs.
I got to play a little supervision role tonight. So I want to keep the show on Wednesday night. So I pre-recorded my guest tonight. So it's pretty cool. And like I say every week, and I've been saying this, I guess, for 14 years now, I've been on the radio or on the internet. This is the favorite part of my show. This is where we bring on the good kids that have done something special. Someone either mentions their name to me or gives me a call or texts me. That's right. You could send me your Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic Athlete of the Week. Okay, let me run it here at the bottom of the bottom of the page. Okay, send me stories, recaps, or your Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic Athlete of the Week to the Karl DeMasi, K DeMasi at prepsportsreport.com, or text me 912-507-9158. It's on all the time. Email, text me, give me a story, give me a recap, and we want to get the good kids on, and that's what it's all about. So this next young athlete, okay, so we got to talk about our Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic Athlete of the Week. He's a junior. He had a great night Friday night against New Hampstead, 11 catches, okay, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns. I'm pretty sure 1 passing, 1 on a catch, 1 on a run to lead the Cadets or be a big part of why the Cadets beat New Hampstead, clinched the playoff spot, so they don't have to worry about it. So they're ready to go. They'll probably wind up being the number 3 seed. We'll find out after Friday night and Saturday where they're going to go. But he transferred in from Savannah Country Day. He's a hard worker. He's had the talent through middle school and high school, built chemistry in middle school with, BC's starting quarterback who started this year, Stephen Cannon. We know Stephen Cannon's out for a couple of weeks, but it's paid off in big ways. Early in the year against Burke County, he went off the charts like he did Friday night. So he's always showcasing his talent, and he's a key playmaker now for the Benedictine Military School Cadets. Once again, congratulations to Josh Washington on a great game Friday night. He's had a lot of those, I feel, this season, a lot in his career if you watch Savannah Country Day when he's over there. But that's why he's joining me on the Coach's Corner. He's joining me on take 2. And that's why he's joining me on the Coach's Corner show, because of his talents on the football field. All right, on the hot seat, no other than this week's Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic Athlete of the Week, Joshua Washington. What's up, Joshua? How's it going?
Good. How about you?
Hey, it's a Wednesday night. I'm talking to kids like you. I can't beat it. It's a fun talking to you guys, seeing our girls or whoever the athlete of the week is, seeing what went through that outstanding moment you had to get you recognized. But once again, congratulations on a great career. And you still, believe it or not, you got the playoffs and you got another whole year to go. But pretty exciting, eh?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, of course, why are you here? First of all, first year at BC, previous 3 or 4 years at Savannah Country Day. So you made that transition. But congratulations on being named the Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic Athlete of the Week. Can you describe the game against New Hampstead? Because we know we have Truell, we have Maxwell. They throw the ball all over the place. And you stood out just as much as their key passer and playmaker made with those 11 catches and 143 yards and 2 scores. Walk us through that game. What was so special about that game Friday night? Did you feel it before you got on the field?
Honestly, not really. Thursday night, it was just the ball kept coming my way, and I just kept making plays. And I feel like Coach Phillips, he believes in it's not so much the play that he calls, but it's the player, and he just puts it in whoever's making plays hands that night.
All right, so you had a touchdown pass, a touchdown catch, and you had a touchdown run, right?
Yes, sir.
Which one you feel was the best?
Honestly, I like to run because I don't get to run much often. So when I get a running play, I like to try to score.
So tell us, where'd they put you for that play? Was it an end around, end reverse?
Yes, sir. I just went in motion from my normal spot and just like a jet sweep.
How far did you take it?
It was only like 9 yards, but
felt good though, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, like I said earlier, we talked before you came on. Middle school at Country Day with Stephen Cannon. You're coming into a program, you know somebody. What did the familiarity of knowing somebody that you played before help you make that transition at BC with Stephen?
Coming in, he comforted me like in the beginning of the summer when I wasn't like understanding the plays at first and things like that. And him and Bubba Frazier just helped me and guided me to get where I am ready to play by the season.
All right. So this is your first year, Benedictine, making that transition, transferring in. How has this transition been for you both on and off the field, being a student there and being an athlete?
As an athlete, Benedictine, they compete for state championships every year. And of course, I wanted to be a part of that. And off the field as a student and as a person, I feel like they're making me a better person mostly. And they care about what we do off the field. And some places just, they don't care as much.
Now, are you in the ROTC program? Did you have to do that as soon as you came in?
No, sir. I'm not in the program.
Okay, so that's something that you have to start at 9th grade, I guess, to get the feel for that. But, they do say there is a brotherhood over there. Do you feel that?
I feel that 100%.
Okay. So beginning of the year, great connection with Cannon, quarterback against Burke County. Friday night, big game with Omar. I always mess this up. Burse, okay. So Amari Burse. Sorry, Amari. I apologize. Amari Burse. So tell me, what was that like? Because Cannon way back in, I think, the end of August, you had a great game. And now this last game of the regular season, you go off again. How is the connection with Omari?
Amari, we all believe in him. And with me, I feel like it can be any night. Any night, it can be Jack Gannum. Any night, it can be Bubba Frazier. Any night, it can be Stanley. So honestly, when it comes, nobody is surprised on whoever it is having a big night.
Nice. All right, and you mentioned Coach Phillips, okay, in an article that Dennis Knight wrote about you. He mentioned that patience is the key part of your growth this season. How did you stay motivated through those first few games or those first few months that you were learning this system, and before you got to that big moment, Burke, and now throughout the whole season where you're one of the guys that they look for?
Honestly, I just like to win. So whether I get touches or not, I just love the team part of the game.
And how about Coach Phillips saying that you've got a lot of patience learning the system?
Yeah, he always talks to me about patience and being a good teammate, and I buy into it. He's a great coach. So,
all right, so you're making that transition from Benedictine, from Savannah Country Day to Benedictine. How important was the support from your parents going through this journey, especially when you made that transfer with this new team dynamics?
When I was making the transfer, my parents, they kept my head up because honestly, I was worried, even though I did move and stuff like that, about not getting eligible, of course, and things like that. And they were a big part of me just staying grounded and keeping my head down and working. And let me know everything was going to be all right.
Nice, nice. And if you're just tuning in, it's the Karl DeMasi Sports Report right here on the Coach's Corner Sports Network. This is pre-recorded. It's Wednesday night, November 6th. I'm talking to this week's Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic Athlete Junior wide receiver from Benedictine Military School, Joshua Washington. Had a great night the other night. 11 catches, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's become a big playmaker there in the BC offense, okay? So, like I said, the coaching staff, what role has Coach Britt and the other coaches played in your development as a player since you joined that BC cadet football program?
With Coach Britt, all the coaches, they always care about you more as a person than a football player. And we always talk about how later in life we can always come back to them as adults, and they'll be there for us anything we need. And that's just very important to me. It's like they're all father figures to me.
Nice. And you've already received college offers from Georgia Southern, Georgia State. Which one's the real GSU, they always ask. What are some of your goals moving forward, and how are you preparing to make an impact at that next level after you finished or you completed your senior year at Benedictine?
I'm gonna be honestly, I haven't looked that far yet past my senior year. I'm really just focused on this year. I really want a state championship with these guys on this team. So
you always got a chance over there to do that. So, but okay, so let's look ahead to next year. This year, personal goal, you've achieved them. You get into the playoffs. Team goal is to win a state championship. Okay, so looking ahead, what are your goals coming into your senior year? What do you want to do? You get bigger, faster, stronger, a certain amount of yards, touchdowns. What are your goals for next year?
Me personally, yeah. I like to try to dominate every time I step on the field. If it's blocking, running the ball, running the route, I just try to dominate the person in front of me. But I'm gonna be honest, I'm more of a team guy. Like, I don't really like. Some people write down their personal goals at the beginning of the season. I don't really do that. I mean, I guess all region could be a goal, all state, but
whatever happens, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, you going to take part in that track team over there that won a state championship?
Oh, yes, sir. We've been talking about it. I'm ready to get on the track with those guys for sure.
Coach Houston's got you excited about it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So before I get to the last question, I like asking athletes this question, and it's a lot of fun. Okay, we all know that athletes have superstitions. So I'm going to ask you 3 questions about superstition.
Yes,
okay.
Sir.
What favorite piece of clothing or what clothing do you like to wear every game, or how do you like to wear your clothes before you play that in a game?
I have this thing I wear on my head. It's called like a bandana. I always wear that every single game. And I don't think I've played a game without it this year.
Okay. What favorite music? Because we know athletes like to use music before the game. What music gets you ready for your game?
That's a tough one. Honestly, the last song I listened to is by Chucky, called "Me Versus Me." That's usually the last song I listen to before I go on the field.
Okay, and if you had your if you could choose your favorite food before a pregame, what would that be?
Probably lasagna or like some type of pasta or something like that.
What did they give you at BC for pregame?
It's something different every week. Like if we're going on the road, we usually get steak and mashed potatoes. And
nice.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So, all right. So finally, what advice would you give other young athletes going through a big transition like transferring schools? And what have you learned from your experience so far being at Benedictine?
The advice I would give is trust the process, and just everything happens for a reason, and just put your faith in God. And at Benedictine, I feel like the thing I've learned the most is just everything's gonna happen for a reason. That's really, I know I keep saying that, but you can't really control what happens. Just you control what you can control, and life will be way easier. All
right. I know you guys got this weekend off because of the schedule, the way it worked out. and you open up. You'll be on the road probably on the 15th of November, so it's going to be pretty exciting. But I mean, outstanding game again. It's not the only one you've had this year, not the only one you had in your career so far, because you've had some outstanding games over there at Country Day. Keep up the great work, and can't wait to see where you sign, and hopefully I can make that signing. But once again, for your great game against New Hampshire, you're this week's Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic Athlete. Appreciate you coming on, and best of luck in the playoffs, and hopefully you can get to the Dome.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I appreciate it. I mean, quiet, reserved, humble young man, Josh Washington. I mean, he made a name for himself over there at Country Day, going over there to cover games. You always look for number 7. You always look for Joshua Washington, and he's definitely, a fine young man, perfect example of what it's all about. And he's already got 2 college offers. He's already got 2 college offers. Georgia State and Georgia Southern, pretty exciting. Like to see which the real GSU he picks. That's always a battle. But once again, thanks, Joshua, for coming on. And that's it for tonight, folks. I hope you enjoyed the pre-recorded show. Thanks for tuning in to tonight's Karl DeMasi Sports Report. Of course, always on the Coach's Corner Sports Network. Wish it could have been live, but you know what? Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Got to thank, of course, a couple of people, John Hennison, Adele Hennison, for letting me do my show here on the Coach's Corner Sports Network. And don't forget, there's another great show that you need to go subscribe to on the Coach's Corner Sports Network. That's Rubbin' and Grubbin' with the Atlanta man, Brandon Bain, talking all things NASCAR. And the show is driven by the OG of the Coach's Corner Sports Network, producer Lawrence Bennett. Love those 2 guys. And like I say every week, say a prayer for what's going on in this crazy world. I'm not going to get into politics. I'm not going to get into the craziness that's happening at football games, as we saw on social media, just things going viral. It's just crazy. But you know what? Let's talk about the positive things. I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. Of course, I got to thank the guest who drive the show. I got to send a big thanks out to Coach Baker Woodward of Savannah Christian Preparatory School, the head coach of the Raider football program, for sharing his thoughts on what's going on this year with the Raiders football team. Playoff start, undefeated region championship. Congratulations again. And I got to thank Joshua Washington, the junior wide receiver, just a great athlete from Benedictine Military School, having a big night the other night, Friday night, against New Hampshire. But he's had a lot of big games during his short career. He's only a junior. We're going to get more of those games like he did Friday night. Like I said during the interview, he's already got offers from Georgia Southern and Georgia State. So once again, hopefully that took your mind off of things that's going on in this crazy world. And remember, whatever you do today or tomorrow, always sit at the park. And as I say it, I really appreciate you guys watching the show and supporting local sports. Remember, it's always got some exciting coverage here on the Karl DeMasi Sports Report. And like I say, to end the show, until I see you again next week, may it be your best week ever. Peace out. God bless. Talk to you later.